You know, the average adult makes 35,000 decisions a day. Our modern world has given us more and more options and information, and with so much spinning in our brains, is it any wonder that so many of us are stressed out? So what's the solution? Well, Kary Oberbrunner says all we need is to become unhackable.
Kary Oberbrunner is the CEO of Igniting Souls. As a writer, speaker, and coach, he helps people go from dreaming to doing. And learning how to avoid digital distractions is the first step.
And your brain gets hacked anytime you get sidelined or sabotaged in life, because you're basically saying, I don't feel like I'm in control anymore.
Kary explains how to achieve greater focus to fulfill our goals in his new book, Unhackable.
Hi, Kary. It's nice to have you with us today. In what ways, what do you mean when you say we're being hacked?
Yeah, Terry, basically the word hacked means when someone or something gains unauthorized access to a system or a computer. And so a lot of us think about bank accounts getting hacked or computers getting hacked, smartphones. But in reality, think back to biology class. And when you do, we realize that our bodies are made up of systems, circulatory, respiratory, pulmonary, and our brains are like supercomputers. And so essentially, when someone or something gains unauthorized access to our brains, we are getting hacked. And today with technology, although technology is not the enemy, it certainly makes it more difficult to be unhackable. Well, the average person touches, clicks, swipes their smartphone 2,600 times a day.
So we need to be able to manage all of that. You say these disruptions lead to decision fatigue. How does that affect us?
Yeah, we wake up, every single day that we're alive, that God gives us that gift with energy. And the problem today is that we have, like you mentioned, 35,000 decisions that the average person makes. Just food alone, according to Cornell University, is 226. So, you go to the Cheesecake Factory, you open up your menu, and there's hundreds of choices. Well, what happens is our brains were not wired or created in such a way to handle all these decisions. I mean, back in the day, it was like chicken or beef, right? But what happens then is we literally get drained. And we see this at the end of the day. A lot of adults say, I'm running on fumes, I'm going on empty, I feel like I'm drained, these types of things. And so what happens is we go through what's called decision fatigue. A lot of successful people are now automating their decisions. So you saw this with certain CEOs years ago where they said, I'm only going to wear this wardrobe every single day, because they said they didn't want to spend their decision power on essentially non-important decisions. What we can do, Terry, for all your listeners, something that we can do is something very simple, which is called closing open decision loops. So think about it. If people right now wrote down all the decisions that are kind of open in their minds, maybe run to the grocery store, get a landscaper, all these things that have not yet been decided, it's just like a computer. When you have too many tabs open on your browser, it sucks up the mental RAM, essentially. And so, it says in the Bible, here we are on this amazing show, it says, let your yes be yes and your no be no. Instead of having, well, maybe, the moment you keep doing all those open loops, you leak your mental energy to live in those what ifs. And as a result, you really can't show up filled up.
So one of the things that you say that we can do to deal with some of this decision fatigue is to do, delegate, dump. What does that mean?
Yeah, well, there's a fourth one called delay, and we cross that out because here's a great exercise that I encourage all my clients. You write down all the decisions that are undone. And by the way, the word decide is very cool. It means to cut off or kill. And it's the same suffix as genocide, pesticide, insecticide. In other words, decide is final. and it's cutting off the other options. And what you do, Terry, is you essentially write down all your decisions. And then what I do is I put do, delegate, or dump. And literally, I take those decisions and say, I'm going to do that one, meaning I do it, or I'm going to delegate it, meaning someone else does it, or I'm going to dump it, which means no one does it. Don't put all your decisions for delay, because again, it will chew up that mental energy and you will get hacked. And we know that people that get hacked in life, their brains, they really aren't people who make an impact. In other words, no one makes it to the end of their life and says, you know what, I lived a great life because I was distracted.
Yeah.
You know, it says in scripture to look onto Jesus, the author and finisher, you know, to fix your eyes. And so the Bible's full of, you know, whether it's Nehemiah building the wall, the scriptures are full of people who were focused.
Exactly.
And that's what we're called.
Well, you can learn more, all of you who are listening, from Kary Oberbrunner in his new book. It's called Unhackable. Lots of wisdom, and it's available in stores nationwide. Thanks for being with us, Kary.